welcome to a special edition of the Tony and Tim Show, the Carabao Cup Final special. Chelsea will be taking on Manchester City at Wembley. Don't forget, Manchester City are the holders of this cup after beating Arsenal 3-0 last year. Gentlemen, this is a big clash for both sides involved.
It's a very big clash, Tony, but what comes to our minds is the 6-0 beating of Chelsea by Man City. And being a final, you ask yourself, what's going to happen? It's under the control of Man City, but anything can happen nearer in the final.
Yeah, anything can happen in the final, but the question that we have to ask ourselves is, has Sarri learned from that 6-0? Because that will then tell us if he's really ready. Because you saw the same scenario last season with Arsenal and Man City, where they played the Carabao Cup game first, lost 3-0. The next time they were playing each other again, lost 3-0. So if Sarri has not, picked up on the mistakes in his 6-0, that would be another problem for him.
Big worry for Chelsea, of course. We've seen them struggling in the league. They got beaten 6-0. They traveled to, they hosted Manchester United at the Bridge, lost 2-0 in the FA Cup FA Cup, sorry. Now they host at City side. Fresh from a win in the Champions League, of course. They struggled a little bit against Schalke. They had to come back from behind. But of course, it shows you that they had probably an eye on this final. It's something Guardiola needs to pick up more silverware to ensure that he's still the greatest manager in the world. Of course, he's a very hungry guy. He likes to take every game as it comes. And this is certainly a game that Mauricio Sarri, like we said, has to be very careful. They had a big win in the Europa League final. In the Europa League, they progressed, of course, and they'll be taking on Dynamo Kiev. What can they do differently from what they did in the 6-0?
I think Nera said the same, that it is Sarri to learn or tweak his tactics. And I think we've mentioned this all along, that Kante, Tony, is not a forward player. He must be played at the defensive midfield position. Worst case,
hold together.
Let him hold it with Jorginho at the same time, in my opinion. And I think he has to be conservative. Sometimes if you're playing this bigger side, because now Man City is the bigger side in this fixture, he has to sit back and wait. Take even the first half studying your opponent, and I think your confidence grows into the game. But if you concede, I think the game 2 weeks ago, they conceded the first 5 minutes, and that's terrible for a team like Chelsea. So it is, how long do you maintain the game without conceding? Then only you can come into it.
Exactly. And I think what he needs to do differently this time is, as you've mentioned, play the players who are naturally fitted for their positions. But then also to use, his gifted players, players like Hudson-Odoi. I mean, these are players with the ability to cause...
To surprise.
Exactly, to surprise. And as we have seen with any team that has beaten Man City this season, they always sit back and wait for them. And you get them on their weak moments. So if he's ready to do that and not the usual madness of, let's say, have possession of
Sarri
City,
ball,
where they can break on you so quickly, then they could have a problem. But if he's willing to, let the first 15 minutes pass by, as I study, if we don't concede in these first 15 minutes, then we take it on from there. Then probably he could cause City some problem. But if he's to rush into the game with his kind of mentality, could turn ugly within the first half.
There's no way. I feel there's no way to prepare for Manchester City side. Don't forget, this team has a depth of talent from the back. They have a team that's solidified to have one of the best defenses in the Premier League. They have one of the best midfields in the Premier League. In no department does Chelsea even match this Manchester City side. For me, what I would feel, what Sarri could do, is something, he can try something to get the best, like we said, out of his players. He can try a 3-man defense and give Marcos Alonso some roaming time on the wing. He hasn't played well as a left back, as well as he did last season as a left wing back. He's a player that I feel for the most in that 4-man defense. He's a player that we are not seeing enough of in this. There are a lot of Chelsea fans calling for him to be sold. So he's a player that I think this coach can try and bring in three defenders. He has Christensen, a player who can play very well. He has Rudiger, and of course he has Luis, who he trusts very much. He can give these players some space to roam. He has Gonzalo Higuain has come in, of course, in this particular side. he has to get Kante back to defend. And of course, if he gives Pedro the luxury with all these wing backs, I think it's something that he can try in this. It's a fight. It's not a league game like the rest of the games where you have to play at a standard formation that you keep playing. So it will be very interesting to see what he does. But don't forget, Pep has come into this one also banging the drums. He's ready to retain that cup. He wants to dominate English football as much as he did in Spain. So getting this trophy again would be a step in that direction. Yeah,
it will be a step in that direction, Tony. And you've mentioned that all the Man City players are better than the Chelsea players.
Almost
and I wanted to add that even the bench players, look at Mahrez there, Jesus up front. You don't know in the left wing, Sané or Sterling starts there. Even the bench is better. And I don't think Chelsea has anything to do in this game. You've said going back to back three, but Sarri is a man who wants to say, this is my formation. He has that attitude of Mourinho. Let me do what I know best. He even said, I think, he's not concerned about the fans. He's concerned about the results. So he's adamant about his gameplay, and I don't think he will change that in the final. Also, the risk is if you tweak something in a final, not yet tested before in your formation, then the media can come onto you if you lose this game after. If he wins, of course, everyone says a masterclass. So it's a dangerous position he is, and a lot of changes might still not work for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with the current situation at Chelsea, nothing really is going well for them. And now with the news of the transfer ban for two transfer windows, I'm sure that is also affecting the players, probably who had hoped that maybe in the summer we could strengthen the club and everything. But now you go against a City side which knows how to win again. You saw in midweek how they had to come from behind 10 men, you know, and to grind out a result at Schalke. It shows the kind of commitment that the players have for their manager, which I don't think exists in Chelsea right now. So probably what Sarri needs to do to probably take out the Guardiola aspect is to inspire his players and tell them, look, this is the chance to win a trophy. The rest may not come our way this season, but if we can upset them, well and good.
Antonio, I think Council Nero makes a point there. If you are to beat Man City, every player has to be at 100%. Every department must be ready for it. And if we can't get that from the Chelsea boys, we can have a game on our hands here.
Mind you, if Sarri doesn't win this game, the board might have to probably push their hand, because he's had poor results. He's out of the FA Cup. Is out of the race for the Premier League, which was brought in to win. So it's a big problem even for the board. But maybe the news of the transfer ban might make them feel a bit for him. But if he loses this game, and I'm in the board, I might have to push him out.
I think it's too late. Any firing that happens after February, I believe it's still Feb, but late Feb, it doesn't really bring any change towards the end. We've seen not much changes. So I think he's going to see off the season. Then from there, they will take a huge decision.
Prediction time, gentlemen.
Wow, this is you know, when you're looking at two teams with contrasting fortunes. I would.
Chelsea might spring a surprise.
And
they beat Man City.
It's possible.
Exactly.
At the home,
And that is what I'm trying to think of. If they can come with that same mentality to say we have beaten them once, we can do it again. Then we could probably have a game on our hands. But if that doesn't happen, my prediction for this one would be 3-1 to City.
Tony, I believe the control is on Man City's hands to determine how much to score in this game. So I think
how many goals are scored?
Yeah, I think they'll win 3-0, Man City.
I've gone for 2-0 Manchester City. Pep Guardiola might have a chance in this one to retain the Carabao Cup Final. That game comes on Sunday evening at 7:30. A big final, this in one of the biggest games in the English calendar. So don't miss any of that. And of course, we'll be bringing you the rest of the predictions on our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter pages. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well to never miss any of the videos. And thank you, gentlemen. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.